Hi guys, good morning. I just took my daily vitamins. So, good morning. We'll be on the last part of the measure phase today, which will be very exciting because I will be teaching some concepts in a very simple manner because these concepts will be uh, very important in your Six Sigma journey as you go on in your career, whether in the manufacturing sector where Six Sigma is really necessary or in the BPO industry. But before that, I'd like you to stay put, relax, and let's have a little conversation on one of I would say one of the ways by which we can practice uh, good mindset. I call this the billionaire's mindset because I'm sure you encounter a lot of changes, challenges in your daily affairs, right? And sometimes those challenges can be demotivating. That's normal for us humans, especially. But nevertheless, uh, CEOs, billionaires, or people who are established already in life or successful, they actually embrace challenges. In fact, a lot of them use their wealth as a tool to disrupt industries, for example. And because from their point of view, money is not an end goal, but a tool towards achieving other great things for humanity. And definitely, these challenges, whether issues at work, right? Issues in life, we need to embrace them because the way we need to look at those should be what would be the lesson, right? In fact, even in the Bible, there were lots of instances wherein God would test people, like the story of Job, right? I'm sure some of you are familiar with that story. And definitely, these challenges make us a better person. I hope that would inspire us to learn more, to improve, and to look at these challenges as stepping stones for us to learn and be a better person. All right? So, in the previous videos, in the define and the first two parts of the measured phase, we actually uh, started to learn how to determine how to do a problem statement, and we were able to hypothesize that probably uh, what's causing poor customer service from the point of view of the client might have been the downward trend in the service level. And based on the previous videos, we saw data wherein service level is trending downwards, especially the last 3 months where the service level is really something that we do not like. And we uh, we we brainstormed, and we were able to come up with seven independent variables, and these are the variables wherein we will collect data from, right? And I showed you a template as to how to format the data collection. And I'm sure when we go to the analyze phase, you'll see some numbers there, and that would be the exciting part. I also mentioned, guys, that in my opinion, the measure phase is the most important in the five phases of the DMAIC methodology because this is where we figure out what data to collect. And in today's session, we'll be talking about the importance of this data. And having said that, we will now move to the topic of CUIKA, which is CUIKA. It is a concept from COPC, Customer Operations Performance Center, uh, and it is something to guide us when we evaluate the data that we have. I'm showing you a slide wherein, let's say you own a small bakery, and your daily average sales is around $100, and you also have a baker who works as your cashier. And this baker would give you a daily report via text as to the daily sales. So take that simple example for now, and just go along, and I'll show you how CUIKA, CUIKA, will play in this particular scenario. So CUIKA is an acronym. So C stands for collected. So given the example that I gave you, so you need just to figure out or determine for yourself two important aspects under letter C or collected. Number one, uh, what is the data that is being collected? So here in this example, it is the daily sales, right? And the next thing is it complete? So you, as the owner of that bakery, will figure out if that daily sales data is already sufficient for you to be able to manage your business. All right. So let's leave it at that, and we'll take a look at the other aspects of the QFAT. So the next one is letter U, or usable. So here you have three aspects to consider. Uh, is there a daily target for your bakery? That's the first one. And is this target based on a certain benchmark? Imagine, you have a small bakery, but you are benchmarking this to from other bakery sales, right? And when you get those data, are you seeing a trend? And by the way, guys, we just do not use the word trend when we want to. There are certain conditions for us to be able to establish a trend, and we will be studying that when we go to the next one, which is the analyze phase. All right, so let's go for I. So this is very important because it stands for integrity. So you need to ask yourself, is the data being collected being used relevant? Is it accurate? And does it represent the complete picture of the business? And was the collection unbiased? Meaning, uh, but in our example, it is very straightforward. But in some other examples, like in the BPO industry, when we collect data, let's say on call quality, that's where we need to make sure that there is no bias in the data collection. Let's move to K, which is known. So this data, uh, you just need to ask yourself, is this data or the way we collect this data known by all stakeholders? So in our example, the small bakery, we have two major stakeholders, which is you, the business owner, and the baker. So the baker sends you, the business owner, the daily sales. So do you have an agreement with that baker as to where the data can be collected and how it will be presented? So it is important that both of you are on the same page when uh, you report those data. Like for example, uh, again going back to our simple example, maybe the baker will just count all the sales and send it to you. So that's the gross sales. Or maybe he would already deduct some of the expenses. So it's very important that you, the major stakeholders, should be in agreement as to how those data will be derived or arrived at. All right? And then A, is it's very important that those data that are generated will lead to A actions. Like in this example of ours, if you see that the daily sales data, assuming it has integrity, it is usable, etc., uh, can lead to further actions. Like if you see that uh, the data shows a trend that is somewhat declining, then those set of data must uh, drive the behavior of the stakeholders to improve the daily sales, which is your most important metric based on our example. So how did you find CUIKA, guys? So it's really very important, yet hopefully I was able to explain it to you in a very simple manner. Because, again, in the measure phase, which I consider the most important part, we live and die based on the data. All right? So let's take a pause, and I'd like you to reflect on CUIKA. And if you have questions, feel free to put them on the comments page, right, guys? Okay. So you can pause this video, and before we move on to the next one, which is COPQ, or cost of poor quality. Right. All right, I'm back. So let's move on to cost of poor quality. This again a very important concept. We call this COPQ. So simply put, this is the negative impact of waste in your process or in your business. And when we move to lean, we will discuss more in detail about the 8 kinds of waste that I'm showing you right now, which is transport, inventory, motion, waiting, overproducing, overprocessing, defects, and not optimizing people skills. So for example, in the small bakery scenario, so we are using the baker as a cashier. Definitely we are we are optimizing that person's skills, right? So probably we are getting one person for two jobs. Uh, let's just hope that this person would not be demotivated along the way, because we also should be cognizant of the fact that we need to make sure that our people remains inspired and and motivated to work for us or to work for the company, because all of this can result to uh, more detrimental impact, because let's say your baker is no longer demotivated because he is multitasking and he is being paid less, etc. While we do have certain savings out of that, but in the long run, that person might resign and could pose a stoppage of our business, because see, it's just you and that baker who are running the show in this small bakery. So just remember the concept of COPQ. I won't be labor this concept right now, but as we move on until the very last phase of the DMAIC approach in Six Sigma, I'll be mentioning this again and again, and I'll give further examples as we move on. Because especially when we compute for the business impact of the project, we will go back to COPQ. All right? Again, let's pause, and we will move to failure modes and effects analysis. Again, a very important concept. Usually not being taught at this level of yellow belt, but I'd like to introduce you to this so that you'll be equipped with this concept as you go on with your work, and maybe you can discuss this with your fellow uh, Six Sigma practitioners, co-workers, etc. Because FMEA is about managing the risks that could arise in the process or in your business. Again, feel free to sip hot chocolate, which I'm having right now. Relax, and let's have this continued enthusiasm in learning Six Sigma. You know, guys, during the time that I was starting to study Six Sigma, I have this 3 o'clock in the morning habit wherein every 3 a.m. in my in the area where I am, I'll be focusing the next 5 minutes discovering and studying a complicated concept in Six Sigma. And as I do this daily over many years, the learnings keep on piling, and at one point, it becomes your daily habit already, and it it becomes part of your system, uh, which is learning. So you can use this video as a reminder for you. Set a certain time and just keep playing this while trying to go to sleep. Sometimes you learn just by merely listening, right? That's why I use examples that are not boring, that are not that too complicated, so that you can use this as learning on demand or anytime you want. All right. So let's go to FMEA. So again, I mentioned earlier that it is about managing risk. So in the BPO industry, and also based on our example, we want to ensure that service level is maintained at the 85% level, maybe 85 to 90%, so that we serve our customers correctly, and we also do not over serve, because that is a waste. Over processing, over producing, right? Because it can have some impact on our cost as well. And nevertheless, if the target is 85%, 85 to 90% is where we want to be. So let's say the typhoon season is already known, because we have been doing this process year after year. And during the typhoon season, absenteeism usually go up, and that could impact our service level. So that is a potential risk. The first concept that I'd like you to know about FMEA is for us to be able to figure out, from a range of 0 or 1 to 10, the severity of this particular risk or the impact. So let's say in terms of the impact on service level during the typhoon season, we could probably assign a certain number from 1 to 10, and based on impact. So it's really super impacting, negative impact, then maybe we could assign a 10. Okay? So just keep that in mind for now. The second one that you need to figure out is the occurrence. This is about a possibility that the typhoon season will occur, that will result to absenteeism, that will result to a downward a downward trend or negative impact on our service level, meaning we might go below 85% target. So keep that in mind, and again, we will be assigning a certain number there from 1 to 10. So the third and last one that we need to figure out is the detection. We just need to ask ourselves, is this occurrence or particular risk easily detectable, or will that be a surprise for all of us, uh, that we need to ensure that we are always ready? But in my opinion, the typhoon season is very predictable. So maybe we can assign a lesser number there from 1 to 10. So, so the the next concept is about the risk priority number, which is, remember, we assign certain numbers on severity, occurrence, and detection. So the risk priority number is just the product when you multiply severity, occurrence, and detection. So for instance, we assign 10 for each of those factors. So that could be a 1000 RPN score, right? So what we need to do is that for every RPN that is beyond or greater than 120, then that means that we should be creating an action plan, because it would show that that risk might certainly happen. And for us to be able to prevent that, we need to be ready with an action plan. So assuming here in our example, uh, we assign a score of 10 on a severity, occurrence of 5, and a detection of 5. So the product is 250. Definitely, it is beyond 120, and we should create an action plan. So for example, we might as well plan ahead, increase the number of agents who will be working from home, or maybe solicit overtime as early as now, when the typhoon season is not yet around the corner. All right. So maybe now you know the concept why we need to have awareness on all the possible risks that could happen. And FMEA is a tool for us to determine how to manage that risk. So, how do you find the workshop so far? So, guys, those concepts that I just discussed, so those are the things now that complete our measure phase at the yellow belt level. So, as early as now, congratulations, because you have done define and measure until now, and you are still here. And there are a lot of great things ahead of us when we go to analyze, improve, and control phases, and of course, lead. But before we end today's session, guys, I'd like to discuss the pitfall of lack of leadership. So imagine you have this Six Sigma program ongoing in your process right now. So you have the master black belt, the black belt, the green belt, and you, the yellow belt. But definitely, we need a conductor or a leader to ensure that those people who are practicing Six Sigma in the process are fully supported, because otherwise we may have the best Six Sigma individual practitioners, but if we do not have a system wherein data analysis are is appreciated, there is no system wherein decisions are made based on data, then that knowledge of Six Sigma will be put into waste. Remember, I showed you the 8 kinds of waste. We are not now optimizing people's skill. And the clients will eventually figure out that the Six Sigma program is all but a show and not a reality in operations, because uh, it will uh, it will impact the way we report to the client, the way we discuss things with them, because eventually They will have this thinking that you're just saying uh, that you are practicing Six Sigma, maybe just to entice me to be with you guys. But in reality, there is no real application happening in operations. And what's important is our leaders should be aware that in order for a Six Sigma program to be effective, we need to work as one team, and we need to appreciate the role of the yellow belts who are collecting data, who are analyzing data, because if we do not inspire these people, then their learnings will be put into waste. And I tell you, based on my experience, this is very rampant because of lack of proper leadership in implementing a fun continuous improvement program. I hope our program will not just be for a show or something just on paper, but it has to be in reality because after all, the purpose of Six Sigma is for us to satisfy the customers. And when we do that, we become profitable. See you in Analyze.